I watched the Beatles documentary. Now I can't stop talking like them, see. Hey everybody, welcome to the Tyler Fischer Show. What is going on here? Hold on a second. There we are. Welcome to the show. Episode, I don't actually even really know what episode it is. Is it 42 or 43? I'm not quite sure. I just know I've been watching the Beatles documentary, so I sort of lost track of time because it's sort of like 45 hours long, you know. So that's what I've been doing. What you been doing? Welcome to the show. Hope you had a Merry Christmas and a Happy Kwanzaa. I am going to give you guys a treat right up top. A little treat up top. This is a sketch, a little sneak peek of a sketch I did with the comedian Ryan Long. Absolutely hysterical. I mean, he's just wonderful, John. You know, he's just wonderful, absolutely. He's just full of crack, you know. So, if you haven't seen this yet, this is a sketch I did a few weeks back with Ryan, and the premise of the sketch is, it is far left-wing podcasters, the types of ads that they run on their podcast, versus the far-right podcasters and the types of ads and sponsorships that they run on their podcast. So here you go. This is me and Ryan doing left-wing ads versus right-wing ads. Roll the tape, damn it. Roll it, John. Come on.
Now, this episode is brought to you by Bunker Vitamins. The world is ending, folks. You're going to want all the nutrients that you can get.
All right, comrades. This next segment is brought to you by Monsanto and Pepsi Cola.
Now, this is an anti-critical race theory cup. For those of you who hate propaganda, you're going to love drinking out of this.
And that Tax the Rich moment was brought to you by Amazon and China National Petroleum.
Folks, I can't wait to tell you about this new product, Freedom Water. Now, this is just a jug of water for those who love freedom.
But do you know who's really into equity and inclusion? Mercedes-Benz. Now, this is a top-of-the-line vehicle.
January 6th, commemorative Patriot plungers.
And that is why we need to raise the minimum wage. Now, let me tell you about Apple Worldwide. They are opening factories around the world.
This is a Patriot pillow, folks. As you know, the Civil War is about to happen. You're going to want a good night's sleep first.
If you buy 2 cars this holiday season, they will throw in your pronouns on the license plate.
If you want to stand up and say, no, I will not let America be turned into Venezuela by the end of this calendar month, you're going to want this can opener.
10 reasons why you should get boosted, brought to you by Pfizer.
And you can, if you want to watch the whole thing, I know you do. It's the whole point of a little tease. You can go to Ryan's YouTube page. That is, I think it's Ryan Long Comedy. Okay, he's not Asian. He's not Asian. You know, that's why I worked with Ryan Long Comedy is his YouTube, youtube.com. I'll put that video also in the link there. I did this video with Ryan. It was more his video, so that's why it goes on his YouTube page. That's what you do. You do that out of respect. You check in with the person. You know, if you ever collaborate with somebody, of course you want to post the video and you want to get some follows and subscribers from it. But I think a good policy is to say, hey, you wrote the thing. I acted in it for free. So it's a good reciprocal thing to say, hey, what's okay with you? So I reached out to Ryan and I said, I'd love to post it. Let me know if and what platforms you're okay with me posting it on. So he said, you can post it everywhere. Just don't double post on YouTube because it's hard to have 2 videos of the same videos go viral on YouTube. And that's absolutely true. So I posted a sample on my Instagram and I think it got, let's check it out, on Twitter. It got over 1 million views like the first day, so that was kind of cool. My first collab with Ryan Long. Ryan Long is a really funny guy. If you haven't seen Ryan, he puts out a new sketch every Monday. I mean, the guy has consistency. Look at this. 1.4 million views just on Twitter. It's you never know what platform it's going to pop on. Put them on all the platforms. Put them on all the platforms. Make it as easy as possible and see what hits. But Ryan has a new sketch out every Monday. And absolute baller energy, baller consistency. And he's doing amazing. He's selling out theaters. He's selling out comedy clubs. And, you know, I mean, yeah, you got to be funny and have some talent. But the consistency part of it, see, that's what I didn't have until, how do I put this? I was locked in my house for 2 years without consent. But he's a funny guy. And I worked with him because I thought he was Chinese, to be honest. I got an email, Ryan Long. I go, I should work with a Chinese person because that can get me into the Netflix arena. I show up. He's a oppressive patriarchal white male. I go, what are you, catfishing me here? Is this how you get old T-Bone to get in your videos? You pretend to be a minority, but turns out that's just his last name. And he's doing great. So, let's see. Got Fred right here. He got a haircut today. I had him shaved, let's be honest, because if you have a poodle mix, they need to be groomed on like a bi-weekly basis. And I just don't have that kind of interest in grooming dogs. So I get him shaved, not all the way down, but he's got a nice clean cut, and I showed up to the groomers, and he had puked all over the place. So I gave her a nice tip. You can pay people off for anything, you know. She goes, was he sick? He's puking everywhere. And there's puke covering the floor. And I go, how would a 29% tip sound to you? That's what I did. You don't want to tip. You want to tip an odd number to add some mystique. Well, Ghislaine Maxwell was found guilty. I'm sure you heard about that. Maybe you didn't hear about it. You know, what I was waiting for was all the big feminist groups to have a big old celebration. I thought they'd have a parade in the street, you know? This is a sex offender and a woman that you know, helped traffic children for sex acts. I wouldn't even say there was any traffic. It seemed like just a carpool lane straight to Epstein's house. No traffic at all. This was an express lane to Pedophilia Island. But no, you hear nothing about it. What's the deal with that? What's the deal with that? They get mad at Louis C.K. They don't get mad at Ghislaine Maxwell. This is what I realized, because now they're calling it, what are they calling it? Kid forward or something? If you're a pedophile, children curious or something. Tiny questioning. It's because to shame her or celebrate the guilty verdict would be considered kink shaming. That's it. They go, well, she was just doing her thing. She was following her truth. And so scot-free with the feminists. Unbelievable. I'm talking about this because I'm wearing a kid's sweater from Target. This is from my new sketch that will be coming out next week. And you can get a 1.5-minute sneak preview on Patreon right now. I'll give you the first little tidbit. Just a tip. Just a Tyler tip. And so, yeah, I mean, that's good news. Oh, I saw some meme today. This is what I'm doing now. I'm reviewing memes on the podcast. I go, I wonder where the podcast will end up around episode 40, and it's reviewing memes. But they said, Ghislaine Maxwell has a top-of-the-line Italian security guard, Hillary Clintione. It's Hillary Clinton with a mustache as her bodyguard. I bet Bill Clinton is shaking in his little fucking boots today. I did not go to that island. I did not have sex with those kids. I've never been on that plane. Bill, it says you've been on that plane 50 times. I mean, I never drove that plane. I was never the pilot in that plane. There's a picture of you actually flying the plane, Bill, with a 15-year-old on your lap. I did not know she was 15. I thought she was 13. Yeah. Yeah, that's the way it goes. I didn't know. It'll be interesting to see if anyone comes, if she spills the beans, the Epps beans, see if there's anybody. So that's something to look forward to. Some celebrities or politicians, getting revealed to be on the pedophile. You could see Bill Gates kind of. I think the thing with a lot of these big tech people and, they seem to almost have this arrested development about them. Bill Gates has a very childish energy. Mark Zuckerberg has a very childish energy. Again, I shouldn't be saying too much as I'm wearing kids' clothes, but you wouldn't be surprised. They're all very socially awkward. And to have that kind of arrested development, childlike aspect to their personality, you could see them maybe touching kids. What do we do with the pedophiles, though? I have plenty of pedophile jokes, but we have to figure something out. I mean, they're not going away, right? Now I'm doing Louis C.K.'s joke from his new special. I didn't realize that. Very funny, new special. Bought it. Sue me, okay? Fucking sue me. I wanted to be reminded what actual comedy is like. So I paid $10 for Louis C.K.'s new comedy special called Sorry, available now on his website. But, a lot of pedophiles, I don't know the percentage. I think it's somewhat of a percentage. Were actually victims themselves of child abuse or sexual assault. So it is a little complicated because a lot of this stuff, they're just scarred for life, and then they have that arrested development. They stay as kids, and then they want to touch kids. But that's not what I came here to talk about. I came here to talk about my new espresso machine. Not an ad, but I got an espresso machine for Christmas, and I've got three shots of espresso in this giant mug right here. And so, it's going to, productivity is going to go through the roof. I have a cafe now in my kitchen. That is dangerous for me. Dangerous. Do you have an espresso machine at home, folks? It is unprecedented. It's incomparable to making a regular cup of coffee. In fact, why don't I roll some tape? Because I've been taking slow motion videos, pulling espresso shots pretty much for the last 24 hours. So check this out, all right, right here. I'll put it down one of these corners, but this is a slow motion of the espresso being pulled. I mean, you've got I don't know if it's called creme, the creme on top, the little foamy, sort of, it almost looks like a latte, but it's just from all the pressure and the foam building up from the espresso being poured. You get to grind the beans fresh, put it in the little espresso thing, do it down like the baristas do. You clank it in, you warm your cup, and then you just pull those shots. And I have a lot of experience. I go to cafes a lot, so I have a lot of experience of what it's like to be a barista. So it's sort of subconsciously sunk into my brain. So today, as I was making myself a coffee, I was being a pretentious, rude douchebag to myself, because that's just what I'm used to, going to cafes and feeling like I'm bothering them, going like, excuse me, can I get a coffee? And they're like, yeah, okay, what do you want? And then they just are really dickish, and then they charge you $40. So that's what I do. I take a pile of cash out, and I just start shoveling cash onto the counter, and start blasting emo music. And then, I walk out of the cafe feeling like I interrupted somebody. And of course, I wear a mask in the kitchen too to recreate the cafe-like experience. I went into a cafe the other day, no mask on, because I'm a rebel. And the guy looked like he was going to cry. And I feel bad for these people that have to enforce this stuff, but he was like, he couldn't even say it. He's not a bodyguard. He's not a bouncer. He's an espresso puller, damn it. He goes, could you just do it? Like, can you just do it? He was so sad. I put the damn thing on. They had like a little pile of them there. You know, I just felt bad for him. This is why it's all so complicated, because they probably have video cameras, and then if he gets caught serving a no-masker, he could get fired. Now, this guy is not making $5 an hour anymore, and they've got us all tangled up in this guilt web, and it's tricky. Could you just, I'm sorry, can you just do it? Just put it on. I'm a DJ. I should be DJing, but everything's closed for Omicron. Just put it on, please. Put it on. Speaking of masks, went home for Christmas. Kind of. Home, not home. This is home. Home is here. Home is where the espresso machine is. But I mentioned in the last ep, family was asking for a negative test to go inside their house for Christmas. And I decided not to do that because it didn't fit me. It didn't fit my life and my beliefs on what's happening. Which is, if you're not sick and you don't show symptoms, don't get a test. Unless you are very, very sick or very old or going to visit a very, very sick or very, very old person, don't get a test. Why? What's it for? If you don't have symptoms? Fuck it, even if you have symptoms. If you're young, it's just going to be a bad cold. What's going on here? It's going to be a bad cold. So I just couldn't justify getting a test when I'm not sick and I'm not going to visit anyone who's very old or very sick. Had my parents been very old or sick, I would say, I don't know what I'd say, to be honest. I don't think I would get a test unless I had symptoms. That's my bar. There it is. I will not get a test even if I'm going to visit somebody who's sick or vulnerable, because here's the deal. You're waiting in line for 2, 3, 4 hours with, I'm sure, some people who actually are sick, which is why they're getting tests, though I'd be willing to bet the majority of those people in line are young, healthy people with zero symptoms. I have zero symptoms. I am just very paranoid. Ooh la la. So, no, I mean, I wouldn't do that. You know, in fact, I saw my grandmother. We ate inside a diner. She's 84, almost 85, obese. Racist? No, I'm kidding. She's not racist. She's not racist. She's wonderful. She's wonderful, you hear? And so, sure, if I felt sick and she was really adamant about seeing me, sure, I'd get the test. But other than that, now you're in line and you're in these urgent cares for 3 hours. I mean, like, we are just perpetuating all this. It's just a vicious cycle because the new variant comes out. There's panic. Everyone's getting tested. Now they're inside actually probably getting sick when they would never have been sick. False negatives or false positives, asymptomatic cases, or hell, maybe you just have it and it's a cold and you had test positive. So more reason to lock down, more reason to panic. We are going to be in this fucking hamster wheel until you move to Florida. It's the only way out. That's the only way out. There's no way out other than moving to Florida or Texas because you can't not talk about it. It's just, you can't. I try not to. I got it right here. It says, don't talk about it. That's about the allegations. But Ghislaine will leak that. But there's just no way. I don't know. How do we stop? How do we stop? You got to go there. You got to go to these states because they're just living. The only way out is to live, you know? It's like, what I've learned in 12-step programs as an addict, the only way to stop sort of talking about your addiction, all that, is to go and live life. That's the antidote. It's not sitting around going, don't be an addict, don't do that, be good. You go out, get hobbies, get ripped, get rich, or you die trying. It's the only way out. So that's how I handled it, and, everything goes... By the way, don't ask advice from anybody, just ever, unless it's a therapist or a good friend. Because you know what? I started at, leaking, whatever, asking for advice. And most people will just go, just do it this once. This was a big, just get the test and go home and take the test and just do it this once. Just this once. You know how all of the atrocities in history have taken place? By people saying just that. People going, just this once. Just this once. Just this once. Just this once. Just this once turns into just this twice, turns into... I haven't seen Jews around in a while. Huh? I mean, come on. How lazy is that to go to the Holocaust? I just had no other, I'm not well read enough to, I could have thrown some nice obscure little genocide in there or something. I didn't have one. And I like to be honest with you here. But no, I mean, no, that's extreme, but it's also not, it's true. It's also true. It's extreme, but it's also true. Everyone just kind of like, we'll put up with it a little bit. But for me, if I went and got a test when I'm not sick during what seems to be a relatively non-threatening variant, 2 years into a pandemic, when no one in my family has died, nor have I, and I've survived getting COVID twice, I'm setting the precedent that I'm going to be willing to go get a COVID test every holiday, every time I go visit my family for the rest of fucking time. And so, there you go. Not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it. Gotta be prudent. Gotta stay the course. Gotta toe the line. Was talking to Bar about that today. It's for anybody who's over 30. Now, I'm learning how to negotiate in life and set my boundaries and try to meet people halfway or decide when not to, even take the drive halfway. And so I wanted to go about this in a respectful way, which is to tell my family, hey, this is your rule. I see you, I hear you, and I respect it. That's the key. Coming at this stuff with resentment is deadly, and it's not effective. So that was the decision I made. I will respect the rule and just say I'm not comfortable doing it, right? And you don't have to do the work for the other people. That's what's nice. I used to then anticipate what they would say and have a second, a runner-up, debate or whatever it is. No, don't do that. Hey, I hear what you're asking for. This is what I'm willing to do, and you put your chips on the table. You let them respond. You don't have to do the work. You don't have to overthink it. And basically, they said, yeah, I respect that you don't want to do it. It was a respect. RSPCCT. Come on, Jack, you know the thing. I got respect. You're a dog-faced pony soldier with no respect. I wrote the damn bill. I'm respect with the black boys that did my leg hair. You know what's going on. That's my impression of Beyonce. It's coming along. So that was great. It felt wonderful to go, this is what I'm willing to do, which is, I'm not willing to do that. And we could either meet at another time when you don't require testing to come inside. Or I'm going to visit some of my other family on Monday, and we can meet outside to exchange gifts, and that's what we settled on. And that was a negotiation. Hooray! Fantastic! Fan-fucking-tastic! Fantastic! So that's what we did. I went and had lunch with my mom and my grandmother inside a diner, and then exchanged gifts with the other side of my family on their front porch, and that's what we did. I mean, they all had masks on, and that's their thing, you know. As far as the last time I checked, Fauci said it doesn't spread outside. Not that I give a fuck what he says, but pay attention. If Fauci's lenient on something, that means it's actually true, because he's so seldom and almost never shows any leniency on any of this shit. So the fact that he said, you really don't have to worry about it outside, that means you really don't. If Fauci's saying it, that means it's probably actually like gives you health benefits or something. You know, you'll get laid. Something will happen. You'll make money and get laid if you don't wear a mask outside. So I did that. It's to me, it's like I'm not really with somebody if they have the mask on. You know, it's like you don't really look at someone's eyes that much. You're looking at their eyes, then reading their mouth. You're looking at the little dimples on their chin. You're looking at the little creases on their eye. We are body language animals. We are ruining children with this. I mean, they are going to be... I'm starting to be spectrum-y, let's call it. I just was walking down the street, and a guy didn't have a mask on. Now, everybody's got them in New York. Everybody's got them on outside. It is absolute fucking a clown world. No reason to have them outside. Everyone's walking alone. Everyone is alone and isolated in New York. The only time you get to see people is when you're fucking walking outside and everyone's covered up. Now, one guy without a mask on came towards me, and I had a full-blown panic attack. I'm walking with my dog, right? I got my cute little dog. I'm feeling good. I'm looking good in my kid's sweatshirt, covered in cacao powder. Cacao powder. And here comes this guy down the block. I had a 30-second meltdown inside because I go, what do I do? Do I say hi? I can see his mouth. Well, that's weird. What's a mouth? It's just a hole into your stomach. I started overthinking it. Oh my God, you just have this hole into your stomach. Why shouldn't we all be dead? You have a hole. Like if you die, if you get shot, we got this hole, and what's going to come out of his mouth? Do I tickle his balls? What do we do? Now, that shouldn't be happening. I'm 34 years old. I'm a pretty suave, confident guy. Sometimes. Seldom. Partially. Occasionally. Now, I have 34 years of knowing what to do when a man walks by with his face exposed. Kids don't. You know, we are going to have some fucking weird people running this country already, but especially when these kids get older. No one's going to be able to make eye contact at all these summits. Hi, I'm the British Minister. President. Hi, I'm President. No one's going to be shaking hands. What a fucking nightmare. So, I don't think I could do that again. I don't think I could do another holiday with masks on, because it's like, you might as well just FaceTime, you know. But my point is, my dad gave me an espresso machine that is so fun to use, and gave me a meatloaf. What a gift. I got a meatloaf from my dad's partner, Tim, gave me a meatloaf, and what a wonderful gift, because it was frozen, bacon-wrapped meatloaf. All I had to do was thaw it out and then bake it. So, it's like you get all these gifts and stuff, and your house just starts to fill up. But a meatloaf is a gift that you eat. It'll be gone. So last night, thawed it out, had a friend over, baked the meatloaf, 350 degrees for an hour. Definitely get a meat thermometer. It takes all the guesswork out. You just pop it in. You see, meatloaf you want around 160. That'll be done. Medium rare steak, 120, 125. I made some mashed potatoes with Irish butter, whole milk, and sour cream. Hot tip, sour cream. Oh, so nice. Salt and pepper. Sauteed a little bit of broccoli with some butter, and then melted my dad. Oh, my dad gave me a 11-pound wheel of raclette cheese. I have an 11-pound. I got a wheel of cheese. You ever had a wheel of cheese? You feel like a king. So we cut off a wedge, threw it in little baking dishes, got all bubbly. You pour the cheese over the broccoli and the potatoes. We just had an amazing dinner. And, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen with this espresso machine? It's going to be life-changing. So maybe I'll make a tier on Patreon where, you come over and have an espresso with me. But it was a nice trip to visit the family. And, so I haven't seen my mom in 2 years. 2 fucking years. So saw her, gave my nieces and nephew signed an autographed note from Gina Carano when we did the film, and they love her from Star Wars. So I took a page of her script with all of her dialogue on it, and then took the personalized autographs for my nieces and nephew and gave it to them to frame. So the frames I bought were too small, so they'll buy the frames. And it was nice. It was good. It was good to give gifts and exchange and see all them. Now, things did get weird when my grandmother said the N-word at the diner. So let's pivot to that real quick. Yeah, so I'm at the diner with my grandmother and my mom. And God, it's hard to even explain it. How dark? No, let's just stay positive, Tyler. My grandmother, I was telling her about the movie I did, which takes place during the Civil War, right after the Civil War. She goes, "Oh, my grandmother wrote a song about the Civil War. It goes a little something like this. In 1871, the Civil War was done. In 1872, all the N-words went to..." And I go, "Whoa, what?" She just, in 1873, all the farmers came with... She just kept singing the song. And we're in a diner with people around, and she screams the N-word in full, not abbreviated, not the short version of the N-word, the full version. And I'm freaking out, and she's like, "Why aren't you listening to me? You're not listening to anything I said." I go, "I was listening when you just screamed the N-word at a diner in my hometown. This will come back to bite me during the Ghislaine Maxwell verdict." So that was kind of the highlight of the trip. And it was hard to see them. My grandma's getting older and my mom is not doing the best. We'll just leave it there. She's not doing the best. And it was really hard to be with family that's physically and mentally dipping. I went through this several year period of time where somebody tried to take their life in my family, and I found them in the act of that. And so that led me to having some PTSD, which led me to getting my dog Fred so that I could handle life again, which has been quite effective. And I get nervous about going into some restaurants and stores and stuff, because they'll go, "What's the dog for?" And I go, "I have PTSD." They go, "Well, you're not fucking blind, you white piece of shit. You have it all, you whitey." I go, no, I'm actually suffering up here quite often. And this dog really makes life easier. And it was just funny because for the first time, you know, I'm again worried about taking the dog in, and they're going to say, you can't have a pet in here, and I got to give him the whole spiel, and he's covered by the law to be in any public place. But for the first time, I thought, if the restaurant owner goes, why do you have the service dog? For the first time in my life, I could just do this, just point to them and go, right there. See what's going on here? See that woman yelling the N-word? See that other woman? Could barely walk or talk? Yeah. That's why I got, and then he'd just go, oh, okay, no problem. I see what's going on here. I see. Yes. I would have many dogs. I would have many dogs to pull a sled, but I see what you're going through there. This is what he sounds like. I'm sorry. This is the owner of the Parthenon Diner. This is what he sounds like. Not to mention, I actually got banned for 10 years from this diner. I got into a fight in high school, and I got a 10-year ban. You are banned 10 years, they say. No comeback. 10 years. I respected it. I think it was my mom or someone goes, wait, are you allowed in here yet? And I did the math. I go, yeah, the ban is up. The ban is up. And they're pretty anti-mask, my mom and grandmother and all that stuff. And we're sitting there talking about, I go, yeah, what do you think of all this? And what do you think of people wearing masks outside? And my grandmother goes, well, I'll tell you what, they're all a bunch of homophobes. I go, what? My mom goes, yeah, a lot of people are homophobes. Even some people in here are homophobes. I go, do you mean germaphobes? They go, oh yeah. I go, is this what you've been doing the whole pandemic? Just calling people homophobes? Which I believe is what they were doing. So between my grandmother yelling the N-word and my mom and grandmother calling everybody homophobes, it did offer some good laughs. It was like, it gave me just enough comic relief to be able to get through this fucking experience. And that's what we did, Jack. We're back. We had a winter of sickness and illness and death. And I warned you guys that Biden's White House announcement of a winter of illness and death was going to spread to him, you know, looping that into Christmas carols and Christmas stories. And lo and behold, let's take a look at this. This is Biden. I don't know if you saw this, but Biden went to visit some kids to spread his message of cheer for the winter season. So take a look. Here's old Joey B in an elementary school spreading the cheer. I knew this would happen. Where are the kids? I could smell them. There you are. Hey, it's old Jimmy Jack Bill Back Biden. We're going to sing some Christmas songs and get in the Christmas spirit. Let's get going. On the first day of Christmas, there was illness and death. 5 reindeer died, hospitals overwhelmed, Fauci is my god, and a COVID Omicron tree. All right, Jack. Yeah, you know the thing. Do you know how many reindeer died?
No.
How many reindeer died?
I don't know.
How many?
I don't know.
5.
Why?
5 unjabbed reindeers. They got the COVID and they died. It was a year of sickness, illness, and death, Jack. Come on. Oh, come on. This is your vaccine card?
Yeah.
It's in crayon. Come on, Jack. You could do a year in the Slammer in New York for that crap. Get the hell out of here. All right, tell Uncle Jack what you're building.
It's a camp.
Oh, like a COVID camp. That's a great idea. You send all the unjabbed people there, right? Take away their lives and humiliate them. And force them to do what you want to do. Come on. If you don't get the shot, then you ain't black. Jack. And then on the 5th day of Christmas, Fauci gave to me 10 booster shots, fear-mongering, taking away my freedoms and destroying my family. This shit's divisive. Oh, nice scams, lady. I'm sorry to hear your reindeer died, but they weren't vaxxed, so I don't give a shit. All right, we're going to use Amazon now instead of reindeer. All right, you got it? Show Uncle Jack who you drew. It's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. You want to know why he's got a red nose? It's blood. Yeah, we shot him in the face because he faked his vaccine card. All right, this is Corn Pop's favorite Christmas tale. He was a bad dude. All right, gather around. It was the night before Christmas, through the house. Not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Because the whole family died, Jack.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't get the jab, and then they died. It's sickness and overwhelmed the help in the hospitals. It's simple.
Thank you,
Happy
Mr.
holidays.
Thank
All right,
you.
Merry Christmas, kids, and a happy Hanukkah Kwanzaa. So, we get some ice cream. Maybe get a little
Okay.
jab of vanilla. If you know what I mean.
Okay, sir.
Get the fourth shot. Sprinkles. Shots. You get the sprinkle shots. I like that. Come on, man. I told you. I told you it'd happen. He's now saying that it's up to the states to end COVID. Couldn't do it. Should have never said that. You don't want to say something, go ahead and say something like, I'm going to end the pandemic, when you don't know if it's possible. So now he's putting it on the states. It's up to the states. I believe New York is trying to pass a law where you can detain, I don't want to be spreading fake news here, but I think they're passing a law. What they want to pass a law that says they can detain anybody without reason for being a public health risk. So back to that Jew statement from earlier. Yes. Just this once. I'll tell the German police guard there's a Jew in the attic. Just this once, and then I'm never doing it again. Never doing it again. I went on Fox News. There's some news for you. 2 nights ago. I think it's my 4th appearance on primetime, Fox Primetime. Did I ever think I'd go on Fox News? No. I never thought I would even be willing to watch 5 minutes of Fox News. And the reality of it is I've been spending 10 years trying to get a late night appearance on The Tonight Show, on Colbert, on James Corden, on James Florden, on Jimmy John, on Jimmy Fallon, on Jimmy Fallon, all the Jimmy late night Jimmys. You've seen my stand-up, haven't you? Do you think I could do 5 minutes on one of those shows? Of course I can. I got 2 hours of material. I have been turned down for 10 years by all of those shows. Believe me when I say they don't want me on the shows. They're so woke. They don't want any of my great jokes about Tinder or dating women with masks and figuring out they're not Asian or something like that. So I'm just being honest here. The reason I go on Fox News is because it's the only TV network or TV channel that allows me to come on and tell jokes. That's it. It's as simple as that. Had I gotten into those shows and started as a comedian, it's not uncommon to do The Tonight Show 30 times in your career, to do Jimmy Kimmel 10 times, to do Colbert 10 times. That was the classic route of a comedian, and that was my dream, part of my dream. Turned down time after time after time after time. Trust me, I tried hard for years. I put a lot of time into going and filming sets and putting them out and sending them to these shows. They said no every time. They all know who I am now, and it's fine. It's fine I'm not on there. But when a TV show calls you and says, hey, we love your comedy, you want to come tell some jokes, and we'll send a van to your house and you'll do it from right out front. You go, you say yes. You say yes. And, well, I say yes. And here's the thing. They don't censor me. They don't screen any of my jokes. That doesn't happen with any of these other shows. Now, I'm not going on there and just doing classic stand-up. I'm talking about cultural, current events, and I get to do 30 seconds to a minute of jokes for each topic. But that's still 5 minutes of primetime TV coverage. And Fox, I believe, gets more views than I know gets more views than any news station on television. So possibly several millions of people watching, and I could get to go on and tell jokes. I have no shit. I was terrified the first time I did it, and I didn't have much of a social media following at all, so I'm like, everyone's gonna leave me, and they're gonna think I'm so racist, and it's horrible. And then I met the Fox people, and I talked to Ben, the host, and I talked to the producers, and they're all just like, we love what you do. Go do whatever you want. And I'm like, why would I turn that down? I could see if I went on there and, like, pandered and tried to, like, fit the Fox vibe or whatever. But no, I go do my thing. I would do the same thing on CNN, and I would do the same thing on Jimmy Kimmel. And so I, they texted me not long before the show. They go, can you do it? We'll send the van to your house. I literally, I think maybe I showered. I threw some jeans on, a suit jacket. And so I put the 5 or 6 minute interview up on Patreon. And then I did some behind the scenes of how I get ready for it. And then I bring you guys in the van with me and show you the whole experience. So that's like a 7 or 8 minute clip on Patreon. But I'll just show you a little bit. So they send me a bunch of topics. And this one is about earrings amongst men. The trend of wearing earrings is going up. So this is, I'll show you just a little clip here.
There's a few minutes left in the show, so let's put comedian Tyler Fischer on the clock. Many men are now wearing earrings, and it's not just apparently for artsy types anymore. Young professionals from lawyers to accountants are embracing hoops, studs, and charms. Tyler, I assume that a significant portion of that percentage is you. What are you planning to try out in terms of accentuating your manly qualities with a new hoop earring?
Well, I took my Jesus impression a little far this year, but aside from that, I love this earring thing because sometimes I go on dates and I can't afford, and I'll say, can we split the bill? And the woman will say, I got all dressed up, I bought all these, all this jewelry, and now I can go, well, so did I, so take that credit card out. It's about equity, Ben. It's equity, and
Yes.
It's coming to life. I love it.
Yeah,
I've got a skirt on here, you can't see it, but it was gender fluid Jesus, and
You still love me? I went on Fox News. I didn't mean to do it. I'm confused. I was just my grandmother who loves Fox, and she's yelling the N-word, and my mom is shaking and calling people homophobes. I just wanted to do it for them. I wanted to please my mama. And this is hilarious. My grandmother does love Fox News, and I usually don't tell anybody I'm gonna be on. I don't care that much. I go on to like get myself out of the house. That was yesterday, right? I used to go and do stand-up every night and meet people and go on dates. If I get the opportunity to do something to force me to shower and run outside into a van and back in my house, now that's an adventure in 2021, 2 years into COVID. I went across the street into a van for 20 minutes, and that's life now. La-dee-da. But my mom and my grandmother, the homophobes, the homophobe accusers, like, that they must have been fucking freaking out because they just happened to be watching Fox, and then I pop up. So, like, so it was fun for them, too. My mom called me, and she was like, oh, my God. You're a homophobe, too. So it brought my family closer together. So you could see that full thing on Patreon. You could see the preview of my next sketch, which will be coming out next week. Now, have a happy New Year's Eve, which is tomorrow. I'll try to get some more sweet clips for you because I'm going to do stand-up at a wedding in Midtown. That's what I'm doing. I don't know whose wedding it is. I don't know anything about it, but they reached out. They go, can you come do an hour of stand-up at our wedding in Times Square? So something's going to happen. If anything, I'll have something to talk about next week because it's going to be fucking wild. I mean, people get hammered on New Year's Eve. These people rented out a hotel in Times Square, and they're getting married on New Year's Eve, God only knows. This is going to be way wilder than the Boston show where the mic cut out every time I talked about COVID. Who knows what's going to happen? I'll let a groomsman fuck me if I have to. I'm just praying I get some action, you know? Because I got to fly Delta now to get touched because people are getting hit and stuff. So I just fly Delta with my mask off and I wait for someone to come over and just slap me in the face. And that's all I got. But have a great New Year's Eve no matter what you do. And I recommend this. Sit down tomorrow or today or whenever. Or if you're watching this after New Year's Eve, make a little plan for the year. Set some intentions. Every year I do that. I set one goal for the year. Don't complicate it. What is one thing that you can do next year where if you accomplish it, you had an awesome year? So set that one goal. Whatever it is, make a website, start a podcast, be found innocent at the trial, whatever it is. Set the goal and then make your first 3 months plan towards that goal. So for January, all of February, all of March, what are 3 things you could do each month? And it works, man. I'm starting to really implement that stuff. Like I want to take this a little more seriously as far as building, comedy as a business. And I have to have, I've got my whiteboard here where I have goals now. I have how many subscribers I want to reach by the end of the year, how many patrons I want, how much I want to make a month. You've got to visualize. You got to put it up. You can't hide from it. So set your goal. Heck, write it in the comments if you want. Maybe that could be fun. Everyone could share what your goal is for the year, your big goal. Unless it's perverted and pedophilia-ish or homophobic. I'll think of mine. Maybe I'll share it as well to get the ball rolling. But have a wonderful weekend. And just a reminder, everybody's supposed to quarantine for 10 days if you have Omicron. We are now going to reduce quarantine to 4 days as long as you go out and tell an unvaccinated person that they are a homophobic, racist, misogynistic pedophile. Then you could do a 3-4 day quarantine. So that's my gift to you. Talk to you soon. Do something nice for yourselves this week and for the year. Peace.